Scaling an info coaching business from a few million a year to over 10 million per year is a completely different ballgame. What gets you from 5 mil a year does not get you to 12 mil. This is my second business that I'm looking to scale past 12 mil a year. The last one, I was able to hit that in 2024. And it was a big difference between the way I had to think about everything. Now, the thing about most people when they hit a certain level is they have this scarcity mentality. In this video, I'm gonna go over how to actually bypass that to make some real money, not what I consider to be, let's be real, chump change. So in this video, I'm gonna walk you through the exact strategies I'm using to scale my info product coaching business from 5 mil a year to 12 mil a year in 2026. I'll break down exactly what I'm changing in the business, where I'm focusing my time, and the specific areas that matter the most at this stage of growth. Let's get into it. Look, if you're new to the channel, what's up? My name is Mar. I've been in the info product coaching space since February 2024. Since then, we launched and made about 120K on launch and stagnated for a while. We were able to go from pretty much zero revenue to doing over $1 million per month in under 24 months. And on this channel, look, there are no guarantees. I don't know you from a brick in the wall, but the goal is to share with you the lessons that I'm learning along the way and some of the stuff that I wish I knew back when I was trying to scale my business up to 7 figures a month. Hope it helps. So when we think about a coaching business, it's not back in 2021 where you could just throw shit on a wall, give somebody a PDF and make a shit ton of money. You have to actually treat this like a business, and businesses have different components of it. But obviously the first one, when we talk about driving revenue, is going to be marketing. So let's first talk about some of the marketing changes I'm making to be able to bring the business from 5 mil to over 12 mil a year this year. So currently in the business, 90%, well, let's just say 85 to 90% of our revenue comes from one single funnel where we sell pretty much 2 different offers. For us, this has been our webinar funnel. Now, I want to be super clear here. I do live webinars twice a week a lot of the time. Does it burn me out? Is it kind of tiresome? I'm gonna stop crying, right? It makes money. So we're gonna follow what the hell makes money. And going in 2026, how I looked at everything holistically for the year was, what was the highest leverage action that I took that brought in the most amount of revenue when it came to marketing? That is so freaking simple. It was webinars 2 times a week. Now, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna continue to scale that funnel until I can't scale it any freaking more. We are operating at a pretty good ROAS right now. We are freaking profitable on it by far. It is working. A lot of times what we do as business owners, especially myself included, is we go and start fucking shit up. We start looking and testing new things and taking our eye off the ball. And one of the things I love about the team I have around me is they will keep my eye on the freaking ball. I always think I'm some kind of like visionary or something where I want to go test this or test this, but a lot of time my team just reels me back in and says, focus on the freaking money. For us, that's webinars, right? It brings in anywhere from 800 to 900K a month by itself right now. I think if we continue to actually dial on the marketing, we can easily get this to 1.8 to $2 million a month just focusing on this. So we're not going to break what's already doing. I am doubling down on this. Now, I can't do more than 2 webinars a week. I refuse to do more than 2 webinars a week. But what I can do is dial up the ad spend, right? I can spend more money on what's already working, right? There's no bottleneck right now in terms of the financial end for what's going on with marketing. So guess what? I'm going to keep running it up. I'm going to make more money from what is already working. Please, if you are making 50 or 100K, whatever the hell a month, you have something that's working, figure out how to increase that number before you start testing new things, unless you know for sure that shit is not going to work. For us, that was a VSL funnel. We had a crazy bottleneck back in November 2024 where we could not scale past 100K per month on a VSL funnel. And that was simply because with our offer, the demographic needed to build more trust. They needed to know more about my story. They needed to know more about where our business came from. And webinars really solved that. So unless you are 100% sure that the funnel you are currently running cannot get to another level, then figure out something else. Other than that, scale it up. But one of the mistakes I made back then was, instead of just keeping the VSL funnel running and bringing me in 100 to 150K a month, shut that whole shit off, right? I completely left that revenue. Now I'm in a predicament where I'm building out new funnels. I'm rebuilding my VSL funnel. And I could have had that 150K coming in every day a month instead of shutting it down. If you have something that's profitable, making money, scale it up till you know it's at its breaking point and you can't figure out anything else. Now, that brings me to the next step that we're doing with marketing, which is testing new funnels. Now, here's a mistake where I see a lot of people make, and I was doing it for a while, myself included. The best time to test new ideas is when you have something that's currently working. If you wait until something completely breaks, like it's making you a 3, 4, 5x ROAS and you let it slip down to not being profitable, you are now in a frantic state. You're like, I gotta figure it out, I gotta figure it out. And this is when you make some of the shittiest decisions. Best time to test new things is when you have extra money coming in and you can take a portion of that and start gambling a little bit by testing out new funnels. For us, this is gonna be VSL funnel again and an IGDM funnel. The other funnel that I am going to test, but not yet, is a low to high ticket. All right. There's so many funnels out there that work. I'm a big fan of content heavy funnels. So I don't have a lot of faith in the VSL funnel. I'm not gonna lie. I think that if you have a really hot offer, like you're talking about, hey, you could sell AI to businesses, or hey, you're out here, whatever. As long as it has AI, you're gonna make some good money right now. That's what people are just feeding to buy something. And that's when VSL funnels will crush. I don't have a lot of faith in our current offer, but I'm still gonna test it. Because who knows? It could bring me 200, 300, 400K a month. I ain't mad at that, right? But this is the time to test new funnels. We're already making good money. Let's test some new crap. Let's dedicate a quarter of the year to just testing and figuring out which of these is gonna stick the best and which one is the most scalable. I don't think all three are gonna work, but I'd rather test all three at once and give them all some equal love to figure out which one is the easiest for us to scale, rather than test one, give it 2 months, it doesn't work, then test another, and all of a sudden the whole year comes by and we still don't have a working funnel, right? Test now. Build a team around testing now, spend some money on them. That's gonna be a big deal. Now, the last thing we're doing in terms of scaling up on the marketing end is what I didn't do at the beginning is a lot of people, when they get into the high ticket space, they actually start with organic content, right? They're already an influencer. They maybe have 50, 100, 200, 300K followers. They're like, how do I monetize this shit? They launch an offer, boom, they're making money, and great. Organic, they milk it out until there's a lot of face fatigue. People don't want to talk and look at them anymore. And then they start going into paid. They're the exact opposite. I really, especially short form content, I hate it. I hate making it. It bores me. It pisses me off. I don't understand how anyone gets a coherent message to somebody in 60 to 90 seconds. Kudos if that's you, but I can't do it. So I didn't start with organic content. I started with paid. The math made sense, and that's what allowed us to scale up. But I'm at a point now where everyone knows organic content is more profitable than paid content, right? Where we might have a 30, 40% margin, someone running organic is gonna have like a 75, 80, maybe a 90% margin in their business. That works, right? So here's the thing. Now what I wanna do is take a portion of my budget and get into organic content. About, 10 to 15% of our revenue comes from organic content right now. This is a decision I made back in June when I was at my, I was actually getting engaged and I was moving and I was like, holy shit, I need to post more organic content. I spent the whole month without posting a single YouTube video, a single Instagram reel. It was just ads. We still did 240K, but guess what? If I had some content going out that I had already shot in the first place, there'd be money coming in. So what I want to do is, yeah, we're making decent money on organic content, but I want to double it, right? If I can get this to 300-400K a month, that's a lot of freaking profit in the pocket, right? So what this is going to come from is, as we go through all of our tracking, big portion of this is going to be YouTube. Right now, I only do one YouTube video a week. I want to do a test. What if I just double that? All right. Instead of spending what I spend, like close to 3K a month on YouTube, what if I just go to 5 or 6K a month? Can I make more money on the other side? This is going to be a test. But I think doubling organic content on long form, which is where majority of organic money comes from, is going to make a ton more money on the other side of it. And it's pretty simple, right? If you think from, let's just say your perspective, you have a 5K or 10K offer. If it costs you another 5K, let's just say, and that's really freaking high, to double your content, right? Your content machine. You make one close, you're at break even. 2 closes, you're making a lot of money. 3 closes, forget about it. It was worth the investment. So it's a really easy lever to pull as long as you have it systemized to the point where you're not just content all day. Right now, because as we build out our team, as we go a little deep into this video, right now I have the leverage because I'm hiring. I'm spending a lot of money on hiring where I can spend more time on content. I can spend 2 hours a day on content. I don't want to, but I can spend that time on content. Right? And it makes financial sense now. So now for us, for our business, doubling down on organic content, I think it's going to have a great ROI. And it's a hyper focus for me in Q1 and Q2 of this year, figuring out how to actually produce this content at a high level. Now, that's marketing. It's probably the part of our business that's the strongest right now. But let's go into part 2, right? Obviously, well, not obviously, but for most offers, if you're selling high ticket, you probably have a sales team. unless you're doing direct to checkout with something, but you probably have a sales team in place, right? Now, what are we doing with the sales team to allow it to match up to what's going on with marketing? Well, that part is pretty simple, right? One thing that we did in our business is how we used to structure our organization chart is I would sit in marketing and sales and I would have a ton of people under me. I would have my assistant under me, my short form content guy, my long form content guy, paid ads media buyer, entire sales team under me. I was dying. It did not feel good. But guess what? What I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like, oh shit, you know what I can do? I can move the sales team up from being right under me to a leadership position. Empower my sales manager to really take over the boat where everything didn't have to go on my plate. I didn't have to respond to everything. Like literally telling her like, dude, run this shit and figure out what the hell you need to get there. Now, here's the thing. There's a little dichotomy here. When you have a sales team, there's two ways you go about it. There's an in-house sales team and there's an agency sales team, right? We decided to go in-house. If you go with an agency, it's really simple. Pick the right agency. Pick the agency that is most incentivized to scale your business, the best one, and you win. When we go in-house, right, you have some options here. You either have a closer who has crushed it, knows sales management, and you just ring them up to a leadership position and boom, they implement all those systems they already know. We didn't have that luxury. So while I brought my sales manager up to leadership, here's what was lacking: knowledge. So how do we fix this gap? This is where people kind of fuck up, right? They get super cheap, right? They're making money like I gotta hoard all this money. They have a scarcity mentality. But guess what? If I invest into the education of my staff, right, what's gonna happen? They're gonna be better trained and they're gonna make more money. So what I'm doing right now is we are looking for, well, we already kind of found sales training, right? Found people that have closed damn near $100 million in closes, helping building out the systems. I'm spending anywhere on this is going to be anywhere from 20 to 30K on sales training, right? This is like a no-brainer ROI right now. Someone that can come knowledge transfer the systems, guess what? They're going to win, right? So investing in the team is so important, especially when you're building from ground up. And in this case, we are. So that investment, I think, is a no-brainer for us. And if you're in that predicament, definitely look into it. Maybe not 20 to 30K, but spend some damn money on your team so they can actually be in a better predicament to actually grow and make you more money at the end of the day. And themselves more money too. Now, the last thing that we're doing with the sales team that I know is going to drive a ton more revenue, and every business should be doing this, is really investing into AI and automations, right? Look, if you run any funnel where you get a ton of leads, there's always something called leakage, right? Unless your team is dialed in, there's going to be a ton of leads that either didn't show up to like a call if they booked on a VSL, or you have in your DMs that didn't respond or book a call. In our case, a bunch of webinar opt-ins that have capital but didn't see the webinar or didn't convert, right? What we're doing is figuring out AI systems and automations across the board to reach out to leads quicker, to give them customized messaging, to make sure we are really investing into systems that are automated to make sure we can clean up the pipeline gaps. If this alone, and it's already showing promise since we started this about a month ago, right? If this alone can drive up revenue 10%, these are leads we already paid for. So if this pulls in another 100K, what is the profit margin there? Because there's no ad cost. We're talking 8% freaking profit margins, bringing in another 70, 80K a month on just a simple thing like this. So what it goes back to the point before this in knowledge transfer, right? Investing in the team, investing in the systems to drive up more revenue and not having a scarcity mentality. In this case, it's going to be AI and automations heavy, heavy, heavy on the sales team. Now, let's go down to the back end, right? Your marketing is dialed in, which means you have a lot more leads. You dial in the sales team, which means you're closing more leads, which means you have more money. Where does that swing to? Your CS and operations team. So our customer success team and our operations team are the next bucket. First thing we did, and we actually did this last year, but we're really, really, really embodying it this year, is bringing our client success up to the leadership team as well, making sure that that is absolute paramount. Why? Because what does this drive? This drives your customer LTV, right? It drives your retention, so you have less disputes, less chargebacks, all kind of like refunds, whatever, refund requests, all of that stuff. But really investing into, hey, this is your job. Make sure the students are A1. happy, right? Let me know what you need. Let our team know what you need. But really making sure that student results are A1, which will drive down refund rates, dispute rates. We're pretty low right now. I mean, it's like 3% or something. But just make sure, shit, if we get it to 1 or if we can maintain as we scale, we'll make a ton of money. And also on the other side, like in the info product space, a lot of times what people do is, myself included, is we don't have any back-end selling systems. So it's very transactional. If someone pays you like 5K, 10K, 20K, right? A customer, if you treat them right, you do well, they can always give you more money on the other side, especially if you're making them money. So what we're doing is figuring out ways to drive up LTV, right? If we can add on things to our program on the back end, like done for you offers or AI tools or something that we can sell on the back end at a high margin, we can go in allocation like a $5,500 LTV to close to 8K. Everyone coming in the door is now worth $2,500 more than they were before, which means we will make more money, which will make this road to 12 mil a lot easier. Always focus on the lifetime value of a consumer. What can you sell them after they have good results to drive better results and put more money in your pocket? Now, this is something that I really, really, really like, and this is something that we haven't done until literally today was the first day we made a decision to do this. And this was student coaches. Okay, right? Depending on your offer, right, it's all varies. But if you have people in your program having great results, right, they are already shining examples of the students you want in there. So why not empower them? Why not give them an offer where they can help boost your community, like increase engagement in the community, have their own coaching calls, help you with onboardings, really free up time. And instead of going out there and finding someone that doesn't even have affiliation to your program to do it, hiring from within, bringing those students up from just students to actual coaches, right? So one thing that we've done is we're bringing up right now 2, it's going to be possibly 3 student coaches, right? They're going to get paid for most on a part-time basis to help with coaching calls. And also what's going to happen is they're going to have access to our team. So they're incentivized making money, but they also get access to our internal team that runs our business, giving access to them. So that's a win-win. They're like, shit, I'm already doing well. I get paid now and I get access to your team, which frees up more time for my business to grow. It is a freaking win-win. And what does it do for us and the rest of the leadership team? It frees up time and capacity. So your leaders aren't just like in the weeds all day. They actually get to think strategically because they have more time, right? So we always think, look, hire from within, student coaches are a big deal that's freeing up our time to really do everything else we spoke about. And the last thing we did, and this is a test, is we brought in a COO. Right now it's January 2026. We did this in December 2026. We took about high 4 figures a month and invested into a COO. Why? I hate operations, right? So I'm always thinking from this perspective, leverage. If I could bring someone in that's better at operations than me, that's better at maintaining systems, that's better at building CRMs, that's better at doing all this crap, I don't gotta worry about it. Worst case, it doesn't work. We're down low 4 figures, right? I mean, high 4 figures, boo-hoo. Best case, it works. This problem is fully freaking solved. I can't stress this. Everything we spoke about today is leverage. You, as the business owner, think about your zone of genius. Maybe it's operations and maybe you want a new brand face to do your marketing. Maybe you are great at sales, but you suck at marketing. You need to bring in someone who's good at marketing, right? Whatever it is, just figure out your zone of genius and hire around that. Take some of this capital and invest in the right team. For us, for me personally, I like marketing. Not a big fan of content, but marketing is like my jam. Everything else I'm looking to outsource. COO was freaking a no-brainer, and so far it has paid a very, very high ROI. I'll keep you updated in future videos. How's it going? But it's been a no-brainer. And then the last bucket is finance, right? I am always willing to spend more money to make more money. So really what I had to learn was take a step back, keep investing in the business, but also invest in the finance component just to make sure we have full visibility on everything. So we've had bookkeepers, we've had tax advisors, we had all of that, but we use a lot of different payment processes, buy now, pay later options. If you know payment processes, they're always changing fees and all this crap, and it's hard to really get full visibility on everything other than what's in your bank account, right? But just understanding what's working and what's not and minimizing costs is big. So what we're doing is investing in, once again, AI and automations for full financial tracking. I think this is a bucket that, generally speaking, you can use a single person to do, but the bigger you get, the more things going on, the more software costs are coming from here, there, upside down. Really leveraging AI and automations is going to bring a full picture. So right now, what we're doing in the next month is building out a full financial dashboard, similar to our sales dashboard, that just gives a holistic view on everything in and out the business, the ROI coming out, and making sure that we can cost save where we need to, but also just making sure that we have the right tools. Like, we send out so many damn text messages. It's like 5, 6, 7K sometimes on text messages. Like, if I can bring that down to like 3K, whatever. Does the 4 or 5K matter? Yeah, it's like whatever, it's rent, whatever the hell it is, right? But just making sure you have full visibility on your finances by using AI and automations will help out tremendously. And that's what we're doing to not just drive revenue, but cut costs as we grow. And then the last part about this is, I kind of mentioned it before, but I can't stress it enough, is going to be investing in training on all of your internal staff. Like, every single person on our team is getting a coach, is getting trained by somebody that has a lot more experience than us. And it's from the perspective where I love done-for-you stuff, right? I've used a bunch of agencies. Not everything's worked out, but I love done-for-you stuff because it gets it off your plate super duper quick. But I also want to leverage the right person in that done-for-you aspect where, like, hey, can I get a knowledge transfer here? Because if I'm fully relying on you and you say, peace, I don't want to work with you anymore, what happens to the business? It completely freaking crumbles. So investing into your team, their knowledge, treating them right, paying them right, adding that like stickability where they don't want to go anywhere because the culture is right and the pay is right. What that does is build something that's a lot more secure than operating in a place where you're fully reliant on contractors or people trying to figure it out themselves. So heavy investment into the team. Like, even as of today, we're going to spend what? 80K on just internal training. And I think in the next quarter, this is going to pay the biggest difference where we can actually go, yeah, we're going to hit 12 mil this year, but really, I'm not going to lie, don't tell my team, we're really gunning for like 18 to 20 mil. And I think this time next year, we'll be able to hit it because of this investments that we're making right now. So that's exactly how I'm planning on scaling my coaching business from 5 mil a year to 12 mil a year in 2026, and the specific areas that I'm focused on to make it happen. If you want help scaling your own info product or coaching business, my team and I help coaching consultants that already have a high ticket offer be able to inject the right marketing systems into their business to scale past 100 to 300K per month. We do this using paid ads, high converting offers, and the exact marketing and sales systems that I use in my own business to scale it past 7 figures per month. Just hit the first link in the description to book a call with me and my team to find out more and see if it's something that aligns with your goals. Either way, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Every week, we're gonna be dropping new videos, actively teaching you what we're doing in our business to scale to that 8-figure per year mark and eventually 7 figures per week mark. See you in the next one.